maybe it's totally like okay to be highly uncomfortable living your life. It's not like fun. I'm not hoping for it. It's not like it's a good thing to be really uncomfortable, but it's just so. It's like part of life is misery. Buddha, Siddhartha, Gautama, he sat underneath this Bodhi tree for a while, right? And he figured out life. I sat there quietly and I got everything worked out, resolved everything. There's only a couple things he didn't resolve. He couldn't resolve them while he was sitting there. And so he finally decided, okay, I guess I'm not going to get to those. And he got up out from underneath the tree. And one of those things is that life is misery. It's just inherent in life. Inherent in life. That's Buddha. The dude spent some serious time looking at this stuff, and that was unbudgeable. So when we start looking at, there's misery out here. There's pain. There's misery, and there's suffering, and there's trauma, and there's discord, and look. It doesn't mean you have to be miserable. It means you have to contend with the likelihood of misery, of facing off with misery. There's an opportunity to become to take on equanimity and really be like, oh, things are happening out there, but they're not affecting me. Even all those things, by the way. The biggest problems that we have in the world right now, I think if I ask people what they are, I can expect there's like about 6 answers that people could give in any given moment if they had to pick the biggest one. And then generally, people might pick medical problems, like maybe a virus or something maybe that's behind us a little bit, at least for the time being. Or they might pick climate change, or they might pick racism, and might pick sex trafficking. Maybe they'll pick war, and on the horrible wars that are going on in the world. And all those things are just, monstrous, right? Every one of them is calamitous, and each and every one of them could thoroughly take down humanity. No problem. I get it. Like, each of them are huge, but I don't have it that they're the biggest problems in the world. We're not speaking our true voice to each other. We're not aligning with other humans that we disagree with. We're not capable. We're choosing not to communicate effectively with people who disagree with us. And, why is that the biggest problem in the world? Because that's the extinguisher for all the other problems. If we don't pull that together, we're toast.
Yeah.
Seriously. Not one of those things, but all of those things will take us down. If we can't figure out how to communicate effectively with each other, we're done. We're so done. Could racism take us down? For sure. Could the wars? For sure. Could there be World War III? Absolutely. Could the economy crash? Absolutely. All of those things require one thing to either prevent it or deal with it if it happens. And that's open and honest communication with each other, including, and maybe especially including, the people who are, diametrically opposed to us in particular ways of thinking. So those people who are going to vote for that guy, you need to be able to communicate with them. Those people who think that about that, you need to be able to communicate with them. You need to be able to be open and honest and have authentic conversations with everybody. Now, you're like, why do I need to do that? They're not doing it with me. Well, because you're bigger than them, because you can. Because you can. You actually can. Have you noticed in the world of communication and trying to be with somebody that if someone is authentic in their communication, actually speaking from their true, honest core truth, like their genuine central values, that you can tolerate them, even if what they're saying is dead wrong in your eyes. You're like, oh man, that person doesn't get it. They think that isn't even true. But if they're authentic, if they're coming from a place of, no, really, this is what I think and why, you can not only tolerate them, you might even be able to appreciate and respect them, even if they highly disagree with you, even if they're saying something that you're so sure is completely wrong. Well, that's interesting, right? We're authenticity police more than anything. In other words, authenticity beats out agreement each and every time. We're really looking for someone to be authentic. And when someone is authentic, and what creates the possibility for authenticity is that if I'm authentic, I create a space for who I'm with to become authentic. So in that space, you might be feeling a little edge of, maybe I'm being a little more authentic right now. And you're like, oh, I like being with Dr. Fred because I feel authentic in this presence. I'm given the license to actually say and do what I'm intending to do.
Right. And so, how does our self expression and creativity contribute to our healing in that way?
There are a lot of ways to communicate. So in the world of self-expression, we are really addicted to this form of communication that we're doing here. In fact, everything's been washed away, and all we're allowed to do, somehow we sustained and we maintain the possibility of seeing a virtual image of who another person is inside of staring at flat screens with lights on them and being able to translate that to I'm with another person. So I get a view of you that I convince myself that that's you, but it isn't you. It's just a bunch of lights. After all, I'm not looking at anything but if my cat came in here, Freddie, what are you doing? And I say I'm with another person, they'd say, no, you're not with any people, dude. You are staring at a screen. It's like, my cats would not get that I am convinced I'm with another person. And the same thing with hearing. I think I'm hearing you. You tell me to put on some headphones and I can hear you. No, I'm not hearing you. I'm hearing some representation of you. There's no you. You're far away. There's no hearing you. These are all representations. But this is the form of communication that we have, hung our hats on. And that is this idea of having open and honest verbal sentence structure communication. But there really are several other ways to self-express: arts, music, dancing, singing, drama, cooking, writing, gardening. That's the creative eight. And there's a couple more that have been added over time. And in that self-expression, we can actually expand the limits of what language has to offer to new areas. And sometimes you can be moved by a piece of music, or moved by a piece of art, or by somebody dancing, or even by, literally by other creations like drama, or even cooking or writing. You can be moved to a place where a regular verbal communication can't really extend itself out to. So self expression is just another way to get yourself out there and to be heard for who you are, seen for who you are. Because as we've said before, there is no more potent medicine. There's no more potent medicine than connecting with another person. You're not gonna, I don't care which medicine you're taking. I don't care if it's ayahuasca. I don't care what it is. Like there's some serious meditations out there, medications, but those and ones that come from the ground are really profound. We could, spend a minute with those. But why are they profound? Is that they create a gateway for you to be even more connected to other people. That's what makes them profound.
Right.
Why are they cool? Why are they great? Why is the experience of psilocybin so interesting? It's because it opens up the gates for the possibility of you seeing that you're just another human connecting with the other humans in your race. So ultimately, there is no more potent medicine than connecting with another human. And self-expression is one of the pathways to that. Creativity is the same thing. Some people think I'm not creative. I'm not a creative. Well, I need to argue against that, because if you're living still, you're a creative, because you have to make choices every single second of what is it you're going to say, what is it you're going to do, how are you going to feed yourself, how are you going to feed the cats, how are you going to clean yourself, how are you going to get out the side of the door, how are you going to do this, how are you going to do that, when are you going to do this, when are you going to do that, where are you going to do this, where are you going to do that. All those questions that you ask yourself and answer, all of those answers are totally creative, 100%. Like the fact that you don't think you can put a pen on a piece of canvas and make yourself a really beautiful piece of art that everybody would say, I'd buy that. That's not creativity. That's just being an artist that can make stuff that people would buy. But can you put a pencil on a piece of paper and write a note, or even doodle something that's kind of interesting? For sure you can. And, everybody is super creative. So again, the expansiveness that's available in communication when you're creative, and then when you're creating forms of self-expression that are basically non-conventional forms, meaning not necessarily based on the sentences that we're like sharing in our conversation today, but based on another form of delivering and receiving information from another person, then you get greater access to the centrality of who you are and who that person is, who we are as human. And it's a welcome to humanity situation where you really get, oh yeah, this is allows me access to my more central self, and now I can know that if someone's seeing me from here, they're even seeing a grander picture of who I am.
Hey guys, I would like to take a moment to introduce you to our app, Yoga Plus. You will have access to an incredible selection of videos led by top instructors in yoga, fitness, nutrition, and so much more. Download our Yoga Plus app available on iOS and Android today.